Hey everyone, this is Aaron coming at you again with a quick video. I wanted to show this to you. This is my Craftsman, I think it's 1 3/4 horsepower, fixed base router. I use it on my router table. I bought this some time ago. I use it, create a lot of great woodworking with it. But recently I purchased this here. I purchased some 3-wing slot cutters. And there's a problem with this. You see right there, there's a maximum RPM rating of 16,000 RPMs. With this being a large cutter head, it's dangerous. It could fly apart and cause bodily harm and property damage if that comes apart. So no faster than 16,000 RPM that this can spin. Well, with these routers, it's not a variable speed router, and as you can see, if you read on that tag, you'll see that it spins 25,000 RPMs, which is quite a significant bit faster. It's 9,000 RPMs faster than what's recommended by this 3-wing slot cutter. So I wanted to set this up. Now, simple enough, go back to Harbor Freight, purchase a router speed controller. No, you can't do that. This particular router has what's known as a soft start feature, which it has a little bit of digital electronics in the base where the switch is located, and it instead of it turning on and getting up to speed all at once, it sort of slows the acceleration up to the maximum of 25,000 RPMs, and those router speed controllers will not work. So here's a quick fix. If you're in a pinch and you don't want to spend extra money to go get one that has speed control built in, a router that is, you don't want to spend the money on it. Here's a possible scenario. Every router is different, but this is what we're going to do. Flipping this over, you'll notice on the housing there's a screw there. On the other side, there's another screw that the light's not going to allow you to see. It's in the shadow. But I'm going to pause this video a second, and I'm going to take those 2 screws off and pop this cover off, and let me show you something. Okay, so I got the dust cover popped off. I'm not sure if that's actually what that's considered, a dust cover, but got it popped off, and you're seeing some electronic circuitry here. That is the soft start feature. It is a digital electronic circuit that senses the speed upon startup, and it tries to dial in the proper speed as well as regulate that speed, as well as keep it from jumping up to the maximum speed all at once. It slowly gets up there, and so you don't have to hang on to it so tight when you flip the switch. Now that soft start feature right there will not allow you to use one of those cheap router speed controllers. In fact, I've never seen a router speed control that said that it would work with the soft start features on these. They're simply incompatible. Dimmer switches or like a fan control, like a ceiling fan speed control. I've seen people try to wire something like that. Doesn't work on these because this digital electronic circuit is always constantly adjusting what's known as the duty cycle of the motor in order to keep the right speed, and also to prevent it from getting up to the top speed as quick as possible. It slows it down a little bit. So they don't work. Here's what you can do. Now, warning, disclaimer on this. Doing this will destroy your manufacturer's warranty if you have any left. And if you decide to make this, you assume all responsibility. You need to know a little bit about electrical safety when you're doing this. I got mine unplugged right now. Oops. Of course, I'd knock it over. Got it unplugged right now. But on this particular model, this Craftsman model, there's this little, what's known as a trimmer. Fine, we'll leave it down like that. Trimmer potentiometer. It's this blue square right here. You notice there, that blue square has a little brass screw, if I can get it focused. This is a small flathead screwdriver. That sets the RPM, on this model at least, it sets the RPM of the digital control circuit. Sets RPM of the motor. So I just simply took a small screwdriver and dialed that down. I dialed it down and plugged it in, tested it, unplugged it, dialed it some more, and dialed it in and I got to the right RPM, this 16,000, or right around that area that's requested by a 3-wing cutter. So without spending another couple $100 on a router with the speed control built in, I was able just to modify this one, and I also counted the number of turns that I changed that trimmer potentiometer by. And so if I ever want to dial it back, I can just turn it back by the same number of turns, and theoretically, at least it would be back to the right speed. If you want to check the speed, though, what I do is I have a small frequency generator on it's an app on my phone where I can dial in a certain number of hertz frequency, and I can play that note, what would be the musical note for that frequency. And then I listen to it with my ear, and you can kind of tell when the sound of the router is making the same sound as as that frequency generator, and that's how I kind of dialed in very basically the speed. There's other ways you could do it. That's just the way I chose to do it. But there you go. There's a quick way. Hopefully, if you're in a pinch and you don't want to spend a lot of money, and but you need to slow down your router or change the speed on your router, that would do it. Like I said, though, be careful with the electrical safety. This is 120 VAC going through this. Plenty enough to kill you. Only work on it when it's unplugged. And doing this, just know that it will void any manufacturer's warranty. So, anyway, like, comment, and subscribe.